Tell the other girls not far away. Girl, I feel die for you.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Are we on air?
Gotta do some Michelle check too.
Michelle check.
Yeah. Why
1,
not?
2, 3. We good? Alrighty. Good evening, good folks. Tonight it's a Friday,
That is
October
correct.
26th, 2018. My name is Yaa Yeboaa, host of Literary Voices on Dorc Radio and TV. Tonight I have with me Brother Oji of MacPree. And tonight's session is a important session. It's also a very special session. That's why we're not doing it on Sunday. We're doing it on Friday night.
Friday is more special than Sunday?
No, not that. Well, it depends on where you're coming from, but we'll not get into that. Thank you.
No problem.
But tonight, you're here with me on Dorc Radio TV. Brother Oji, what are we talking about?
Well, first of all, Nana, I thank you for having me in studio here today, and I thank the chief and everybody. And actually, today, about 2 weeks ago, I actually got on the plane from Ghana to come to Canada for a number of events. Chief of them all is our 4th Toronto International Owari Tournament and Family Fun Day happening tomorrow.
So, for those who do not know about Owari, could you please educate us a little bit about what Owari is?
Owari is an ancient African counting game. It's a mathematical game. It has arithmetic principles. It has farming principles. It has communitarian principles. It has all kinds of values that are embedded in the cultural traditions of African people embedded in the game. What's important about Owari is not that Owari stands by itself. It stands within a family of games called the Pit and Pebbles class of games, played all over Africa and in many countries around the world, making it more than 300 games in this class, and it is also the oldest board game played in the world.
And it originates from?
The origin of the game is the Nile Valley region of East Africa. Now, the specific place where the game comes from, whether it be Nubia or Egypt or Zimbabwe or so forth, is not exactly known. But the game has been found on pyramid texts and in stones going back almost 5,000, 6,000 years BC.
Okay, yeah, beautiful. So Owari has been ongoing here. No, before I get to that question, let me ask you, what made you organize the first Owari tournament?
Actually, I was doing work with Owari before the tournaments. I made my first trip to Ghana in 1991, and at the time I was a documentary photographer. I'm an educator. I went to Teachers College, and I went to UFT, and I...
No wonder.
And, and I was sourcing and searching for anything that we can use in a low-intensity way to educate our people about African culture and tradition. And one day I stumbled on a group of young men in the market in the central part of Accra playing this board game, and they were sitting around the game very intently, and I became... Yes, I became very attracted by it. I bought a few pieces, I came back, I did some further research on it, I used it in my teaching practice, over the years, I noticed that with the games I brought, people became more interested. They wanted to know more about the game, and they even became more interested in learning more about African culture because of the game. And I evolved a number of events until in 2010, we started the Toronto International Owari Tournament. Before that, we started the Owari Africa in the Classroom program, and then we evolved to the Owari Africa in the Community program. So the tournament just made sense as a way of bringing the community together around a village concept to learn about the game, to play the game, and to be together in enjoying themselves in the community.
So, let me ask you a question pertaining to the playing of Owari, because this particular tournament, for those who are not aware, some people play with the 4 seeds, abanai, 4 pebbles of Owari. However, in this tournament, it's 5.
No. You see what happened? This whole thing about Owari is an educational process for me. And I say that by first saying, Ethiopia has more than 50 versions of the game.
Yes.
Ghana has 5. I only know 3, but I've been informed that Ghana has 5 versions of the Pit and Pebbles class of games.
Yes.
There is Owari Tampandu, Owari Nam Nam, and Owari Abapa. What you speak of when you speak of Owari and the 4s, is the Nam Nam. Or Nyam Nyam, as we would say in Jamaica, eat. Oh. That's the children's version of the game. Okay. Now, Abapa is the proper version, or the adult version, the version that is used in competition. And that's the one where you play with the variation of 2s and 3s. If your last seed sown lands in a hole on the opponent's side and it adds up to 2 or 3, you win the seeds in that hole. And as you play, the strategy builds and evolves. And additional to that part of the rule is, if the hole behind the last hole you fall in also has 2 or 3, you win it. You can win up to 5 holes in a continuous sequence, 2 or 3. And as children and adults play the game, they use their own inborn intelligence to develop the strategy of winning. Even though there are tricks, we don't really teach them the tricks. We try to help people to use their own intelligence to develop their own strategy in playing the game as well.
It sounds simple but complex, and
it's actually simple. The only part of playing Owari that is difficult is before you sit down to be instructed. People become very timid and all tense when it comes to be playing a game of Owari because they think the rules are going to be complicated. It's not complicated. You just have to begin to play, and then you'll say, oh, okay, I need to do this and that, and then you see somebody putting their hand on their cheek or they're saying, and you see they're beginning to go into the thinking process, because this is what life is all about, and that's what we're trying to encourage people to do. Find things that can be less intense at times, that can help us relax, and we use it as a backdoor tool to get our young people to start thinking about strategic planning, to think about problem solving, to think about cooperation and healthy competition, and that as well.
Beautiful. So with this 4th Owari, it's a special one because it is the final one that you will be handling.
That is correct. I've been doing the tournaments. It's in 2-year blocks. One, we waited 3 years before we did one because the funding wasn't coming in. And I have primarily paid for these tournaments myself. I do get some financial support. I do get service support from my colleagues. If there's somebody who does dance workshop or somebody who does drumming, they will sponsor their time in order to make the Owari tournament have some other activities for people to be engaged in. Now, every process you go through, you have growth and you move on. I have served my time. I have I've done well. We have more than 50 schools in the Toronto District School Board using Awari game boards now because of us. We introduced Awari in the London Catholic District School Board. That's probably where we had some of our best tournaments. We have introduced it in Ottawa. We have introduced it in Halifax. We have actually have an Awari society established in Brazil because of our work. In Costa Rica, there's also Awari being played there because of us. We team up with the Awari Society in England, and there are different groups we work with, and it has expanded and grown. I said, now let's see if what I have done is going to really hold. Will there be an organization that will come forward to say that, Brother Oji, what MacPree has done with Awari is a powerful thing, and we are ready to take over? So this is what we're looking. My time is coming to a close, and on that day, tomorrow, before the event is finished, I am really believing that somebody in that audience that represents one of our established organizations in the community will put their hand up when the question is asked, who is willing to take this Awari tournament and Awari Canada forward? Please make yourself known. I'm expecting at least one hand to go up in that audience.
So for tomorrow, I see a very a lady who has departed and now has become an ancestor.
Sister Yeboaa was the, may she rest in peace, was the executive director of the Harriet Tubman Community Organization. She gave life to the organization. The organization as much as died. And Sister Yeboaa took it. She's a pretty hard hand, very firm, strong, spirited person, and she would fight with the government for funding and issues and treatment and all that, and she built the organization back. The one thing about Sister Yeboaa that I love, you can speak with her straight. I actually traveled with her to Africa one time. We had a great journey. She supported every single Awari Day. In fact, the organization actually sponsored prizes. I mean, right now it's not happening, but I believe it will happen again. The Harriet Tubman organization this year is supporting the Arts and Crafts Room. That still continues. But Sister Yeboaa was there, and she supported us, and she was loved, and she was the biggest supporter of Awari Day from 2011 to when we did the last one, 2016. And we need to honor her. We need the community to know that this woman was behind us, and we need to honor her memory. And we will be honoring the memory of Sister Yeboaa Walcott at Awari Day tomorrow at the Afrocentric School.
And tomorrow as well, we have one of African Canadian distinguished storytellers, authors, and business woman.
What can I say about the incredible Aita Sadu?
I have to get her in the studio.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. You know, I don't want to give it away. What Sister Aita is going to be doing for us tomorrow at the Awari Tournament and Family Fun Day is going to be very special. It's going to be unique, and it's going to be unforgettable. So I'm going to leave it at that. Aita Sadu is the co-owner of a different book list. And a different book list, like all good children evolve and grow, they are now a different book list cultural center, the people's residence. So when you walk into that place, you know that's your home. You know that's your home. And Sister Aita, she can just stand in front of you and look at this room and look at the keyboard and look at the computer and look at the umbrella and tell you a story that will be unforgettable.
That is indeed true.
That is her.
That is indeed true.
There are a number of other things that will be happening at the Awari Day event tomorrow. When we first started the Awari tournament, we realized that there are people who will be knocked out of the tournament. It's an elimination style tournament, and families will be coming. You're going to have children as young as 4. I'm not going to count the babies right now, but the babies should be counted. And you'll have 7-year-olds, 12 years old, and you'll have elders as old as 84. I know for sure that the oldest person coming tomorrow will be at least 85.
86.
He will be 87.
87?
He will be 87.
Okay.
So Elder Stevens will be there, and he is the honorary ambassador of Owari. And in fact, the Antigans,
Yes.
for the last 15 years, at the International Games Festival in France, have been the Grand Master champions
Of
this game. Not the Ghanaians, not the Nigerians, but the Antiguans. So that says something.
They're still representing us.
I'm just saying you have it
Yes.
that the games come from Africa. It came to the Caribbean, and
Yes.
it is still connecting us
Yes.
as one people.
Yes,
So
that's
when you
true.
come to Owari Day tomorrow, you will be participating in an unforgettable tournament. There will be other activities. We are starting off with free breakfast. It's always been a big draw for us. We have an African marketplace. We have drumming lessons, jewelry making, a head wrapping workshop. We have capoeira, African martial arts, performances, food and drinks on sale. And for those of you who don't have your Owari game boards yet, you can also come and purchase one at our event. Now, the location for tomorrow's event is the Afrocentric Alternative School.
Yes.
That's 1430 Shepherd Avenue West, and that's near Keel Street. The Afrocentric School, and we start the event. Registration begins at 10 a.m. Now, if you haven't pre-registered, it's best for you to come as early as possible to ensure you get a chance to play. And some of you listening might say, I really want to play, but I have no clue what you're talking about. How do you play this game? You can come early before 10 o'clock.
And you
Around
have lessons.
9:30 while we are serving our free breakfast, and you can sit around the table and we'll have one of our representatives here teach you how to play the game. You can also go to our website, owari.ca. I could say owaricanada.com, but the easier one to remember is owari.ca, OWARE.ca. And on the homepage, you will see the section for the rules for the games. You can go over it, and then when you come tomorrow, you will be like an expert. And you can pay your $10 to enter the tournament. And the main prize is $300 plus trophy plus gifts.
Okay, beautiful. Brother Oji, I know we're talking about Owari and every other thing, but I'm also interested in you. After the Owari is gone, what next? What should we expect from you within you as a community ambassador, as a community worker, as an educator? What should we expect from you?
Well, first of all, Nana, I thank you for asking that. And I've been a community activist, worker, developer my whole adult life. Actually, from I was a youth. And I haven't focused very much on money or making money. But marriage changes you. I've used all my money to travel before I married. I now have 3 children. My last born.
Sorry, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your last born.
I'm gonna say my last born. Naashika Isaga. She came into our life in this world about a month and a half ago, and. Thank you. And the children are growing. And did you hear what her name is? Naashika Isaga. So my wife has come to give me the message that we need to focus more on money. So we're gonna flip the script around a bit. Instead of doing community work and then hope money will come for you to do community work, we are going to make money, and then the money we make, we're going to invest back into the community work. So on the flip side of the flyer for the Owari Day event, you will see that MACPRI this year is the principal sponsor of the event, and our company has evolved. We are now poised to be the most powerful company dealing with awards outside of China in the entire world. Wow. Can you imagine a company that focuses on Made in Africa awards? I'm not saying it's not going to come with challenge, but if we are interested and committed to African development, the carvers may give you something sometimes that have cracks, that they may not be complete.
We need to reinvest.
But what do we do to get these things moving better? We reinvest in the carvers. We make sure that they have proper income and regular income so that the production that is done can be more perfect as we
Hold
go
them to
by.
a higher standard.
Exactly. But if every now and then we go there, we buy one or two things from them, they cannot survive on that. So they're not going to buy the best wood. They're not going to cure the wood properly. All of these things are going to happen. They need to also be educated along with us that yes, this thing here can be very viable. It can feed my family for years and years and years to come. So MACPRI Made in Africa Awards movement, that is the next stage of existence for MACPRI as we go forward. And you know, the last time I was in studio, I brought a fan for you.
Yes, my fan is still there.
I brought you a fan.
I took it to Ghana and brought it back with me.
Oh, that's nice. That's
I
nice.
wanted to get a new owner, but I refused.
No. You should send them to Art Center, go and buy their own. Now,
Yes.
Nana, that fan has made some serious difference
I see it parading around a lot.
in my life and in the life of the producers in Ghana as
Yes.
well. Now, if you walk through Art Center, you will see where my brother is sitting there and where the chief is sitting, where you're sitting. You consider that you have like 20, 30 producers in a certain area in Art Center. Out of that 30, more than 20 of them are producing these Fankara fans, these African fabric fans. And I mentioned then that a Chinese woman brought the design to Ghana and said she wanted some high-end fans. She didn't want the paper ones that China makes. You poke your finger through it and it's finished. She wanted a high-end fan made with cloth and leather. These fans are sold now around the world in a value of anywhere from $22 US to $28 US for one.
Yes.
Can you believe that the biggest contract that I will ever get since dealing with Made in Africa products will probably be a production of these fans to go to the Eastern Caribbean.
Okay.
I know my wife is listening and she's smirking and saying, Fama Misika, why? Why?
The first kind of breath. You bring the money home. That's right.
And still,
Wow.
Nana, I'm a community man from beginning to end. And I know you have a problem with that because you can speak to your issue on that if you wish.
Well, things are turning around now, so I don't have to beat a dead horse.
Am I the horse you're coming to beat?
So to
Hey,
speak.
shy.
So to speak, I don't have to beat a dead horse. Or now the dead horse is alive, back alive.
I got land for the family. I'll build them a house. What kind of dead horse could I be if I put my family in a house? But you are making a good point there. You cannot raise a family if you cannot feed your family.
That's right.
Feed your family first before you try to feed anybody else. And you know, Nana, you asked me what else I'll be doing going forward. I'll be spending some time writing now. Make some money and write. And I brought some of my olden days poetry for you here.
I see you did, and I'm interested in hearing some of your poetry.
Chief Yinka advisory here. So let me see.
But before you go in, you segue into the poetry. Let me just say a big thank you to Chief. I think he's our executive producer at this point in time.
Respect,
having
Chief.
the time for us and orchestrating us to sit here to do this program, Literary Voices, on a Friday night with you. So,
Chief, I appreciate that very much because Sunday couldn't happen and tomorrow is Saturday, and Brother Oji's last self-coordinated We Play Owari Family Day and Tournament happens tomorrow, and we want you to be there.
yes.
Now, if you don't mind, there is another Oji in the house, and I wish for that Brother Oji to stand up. So people who have known me from back in the early 80s coming through to today, I am telling you that I have put myself back on track, and I'm going to let you know that my book will come soon and Nana will publish it.
That was a trick question. Philjo Multimedia will publish it.
Yes, Phil
Yes.
Jones. Okay, so let me see if
I will not publish it. Phil Joe
Multimedia will publish it.
Yes.
But listeners, if you hear my 3 little poems and you have decided that you love them, call Phil Joe Multimedia in the directorship of Nana Yaa Yeboaa and let her know that you want to see Brother Oji's work in print, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So close your eyes, eh?
We
People.
need to close our eyes.
No, you don't have to close your eyes. I'm just causing trouble here, because before I do my poetry, I have to bring up the energy of it.
Oh, okay.
So, which one shall I give you first? Okay, this one courtesy of Kofi Owusu Jemfi, who I met in Ghana in 1991. He presented the piece to me, and I kind of tweaked it a bit.
Yes.
It's about maintaining and keeping to the tradition. It's a bit rough in the end. It's very deep, and they might. Let me just give it to you. Oh, I must go back to my root. Why must I be an alien to my own culture and religion? They say I must whistle while I am bathing. I must throw stones while silence visits the night. Am I not the son of Papa Bibini? I must go back to my root and eat and dance with the dead.
That's deep.
Behold, woman,
You talking to me?
beautiful being, anointed holiness in flesh. I will come when you call me to be born again.
Amen.
In your abode of happiness, I will rest. Your place of peace is like no other. That is why I will come and die here to be born again. Behold, woman, beautiful being. And this is my most recently written piece.
So the Behold Woman is also your piece.
Me and Kofi Owusu Jemfi.
Okay.
No, that one is completely mine. And there was a series of poems I was reading back in the early 90s called Technicians of the Sacred.
Okay.
And there were poems written.
What does that mean?
Technicians are people who tinker with things, who build things, who construct things, and then sacred now is your spiritual life, things that are not to be played with. If you're talking about the relationship between that higher existence and connection between man and woman, that is not something to play with. So these writers deal with life and interactions on a higher level, on a spiritual level. So they are writers. Instead of calling themselves writers of spiritual ideas, they refer to themselves as technicians of the sacred.
Technicians of the Sacred. I like.
You
that
can
title.
Google that.
I like it. Yeah.
My last piece,
Yes.
my most recently written piece.
Before you get in there,
My last piece.
The second piece. What was the title?
Which one?
Behold, Woman. You know what? You really got the. I wrote a piece called "To Love a Black Woman." So you got the answer of how to love a black woman. It's okay. Continue.
You don't want to know the title of that piece,
No,
eh?
no, I don't want to
The
know.
title is not there.
Oh, it's not.
No, the Technicians of the Sacred is the series
I
of
thought
writings.
Behold, Woman is.
No.
Okay, so I don't want to know.
You don't want to know the title
PG.
of that. It's PG. It's PG.
Okay.
It's PG. Right, Chief? You don't want to know the title of that one.
No, I don't.
Yes.
Thank you.
But because poetry is something that requires interpretation, and we want to encourage the listeners to interpret the pieces I cannot explain.
Yes, definitely.
The last one was written on the verge of the last moments of preparation for tomorrow's Owari Family Day.
Okay.
And it encapsulates the years of work with my team and the African Image Revolution.
Yes.
And this is what I've said to the people. Every good farmer should plant the seed
Yes.
so others can feed on their harvest to succeed.
Oh, that was the one with the cassava thing.
You know my cassava there?
Beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful.
yes. So you know I have a small farm on the land
Yes.
that I have in Ghana. I have cassavas, I have cocoa yams, I planted sweet potato before I left, I have encatier, groundnut. You ask me, I've planted it. So it's
Beautiful.
there. So there's the specific, and then there is the metaphor as well.
Okay. Hey, when you say metaphor, because when we say cassava, okay, I pause.
You went to cassava.
No. Especially with some of our music, when they say cassava, it's not the cassava we are eating. It's a different. It's a PG cassava.
Okay.
So I will pause there.
Pause.
I will pause there. Brother Oji, it's been wonderful having you in the studio as usual. And we've been talking about Owari. It's rather unfortunate to me that you've come to the end of the road.
Why is it unfortunate?
Because
Should the father and the mother not pass the baton to the child?
It is true. Hold on. It is unfortunate for me that you have come to the end of this journey, because you and I have started sitting down to talk more about Owari to a wider audience than what we have. That is what I meant. So before you jump in,
I'm not jumping, my sister. We just
I'm ready for
conversing.
you.
Bring it on.
So tomorrow, Saturday, October 27th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., free admission. However, for tournament participants, it's $10 to register. There's free breakfast. So when you come on an empty stomach, we will give you a good breakfast.
Breakfast goes from 9 to 11 a.m. and then after that, then the kitchen will be open. You can buy food after that.
Okay.
But for breakfast, it's free.
So there will be an African marketplace, drumming lessons, jewelry, head wrapping workshop, African martial art performances, and needless to say, I'll be doing storytelling.
We are honored
Today,
to have you return for the second Owari Day, Sister Nana.
Yes.
And we are excited about your return, and we know that you are going to make the place happy. How did you feel about the last Owari Day? What was the vibe like for
It
you?
was beautiful. It was my first time, and I got to interact with people that I don't know. I got to know new faces, and then old faces that I re-met there or reconnected with. It was a nice, it was a surreal and environment. And also with a game that normally as children we either dug holes in the ground or we just sat in a corner and played amongst ourselves. To see that elevated on a different platform was also very encouraging. Yes. And that's why I keep buying for my children, and they keep losing the
The seats.
The seats.
Come and buy some more tomorrow. It's $5 a set. Is Phil and Joe playing tomorrow?
Well, we haven't practiced, but I can still register them.
They can get a little brush up at the beginning. Remember,
yes.
the tournament is about fun. It's also a competition, but it's also about the experience as well.
Yes. So we'll be there tomorrow morning to experience the Owari tournament. Any last thoughts before we go off air?
I want to thank my mother and my sister and my niece and my niece's partner and all the members of my household here who make sure that I always have a place to stay when I return from my home in Africa. I love you all. I love my people. And I love it when we come together. And if you want to see an event where our people come together and there's no hang-ups and it's just pure joy, then you make your way over to the Afrocentric School tomorrow for the 4th Toronto International Warrior Tournament and Family Fun Day. I thank you. I thank you, Nana. I thank you, Chief. I thank everybody in the studio for having me here. And I look forward to be here with the family again to give you the recap.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Dorc FM and radio or television, streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. It's been a pleasure having you in the studios with us, Brother Oji, for this Owari tournament. Thank you to our executive producer, Chief Yinka, and I'm your host, Nana Yaa Yeboaa. We're signing off on Literary Voices. See you on Sunday.
Another currency, baby. Tonight we're talking dollars, yeah. Baby, any currency, yeah. Baby, give me no mess, yeah. Wanna know if there is vacancy, just like downtown when you know I might.